Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miracle Zone Formula. My name is Maria Kay, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here with you. Well, it's this evening for me, wherever you may be. It might be much earlier on in the day, and there we do have some beautiful people from across the ocean. So welcome to everybody. And if you're here live, I just want to take a second to give you a big high five, really, because you know what? I know how life can be. I know that things do get chaotic. They can get in the way. And to commit to an appointment at a specific time when you don't necessarily have to, right, isn't always easy. So that being said, I do want to say a huge congratulations for taking the time, making the commitment, and putting yourself first, right? Amazing. Now, if you're listening back to the replay, another big well done to you too, because, again, you still have dedicated that time. So whether you're live or listening to the recording, a massive warm welcome from the bottom of my heart. Now, for those of you who do know me, I'm going to ask you to sort of bear with us for a little bit. I just want to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me very well at all. Now, my name's Maria Kay, as you already know. I've already said that. Who am I? I'm going to start off really basic. And I'm going to say that I am a woman with a passion for other people's success, freedom, and happiness, for other people's transformations, for life in the Miracle Zone. And first and foremost, that is my passion. Now, it wasn't always my passion. As you probably will understand, we're not born knowing exactly what we're passionate about or what our purpose in life actually is. And it's taken me many years of trudging, of struggling, almost wading through swamp waters to get to where I am today, with this clear knowing of who I am and what I'm here to do. So I am a success, freedom, and happiness coach. I'm also a deep transformation facilitator and life mentor. And the three blend together absolutely beautifully. And you may have already heard about how passionate I am about this topic in general, really. Living life in the Miracle Zone, claiming the bliss life that is rightfully yours. And why? Why is it so important to me? Well, as I said before, I haven't always been here where I am today. I've been in a lot bleaker places. I've been in the confusion. I've lived through the disempowerment, the poverty, the lack, heartache, heartbreak, self-hate, fear, anxiety, guilt, the stuckness and the exhaustion. Probably a lot of what you guys might be resonating with today. I've absolutely loved connecting with a lot of you for a very long time, really, but especially over the last two or so months off the back of a virtual event that I ran, which has given me a lot of really deep insights as to what you are facing, what you are going through, and also what you need. Now, I had a conversation earlier on today with a beautiful lady, and she asked me, what do I do? How do I help people? And I was very inspired to talk first and foremost about how important allowing my intuitive abilities to lead the way when I work with people, whether it be in a group setting or a one-on-one basis. And I was sort of reflecting on that this afternoon in my sort of daily walk in nature, and it really sort of came up as a very powerful way of sharing with people exactly what I do. Multifold, multifaceted, but that being, as I said, being intuitive with the way I work has led me to today. Has led us to today's Tele-Class, and understanding what you guys need, and this is how today has come about. So, again, a massive warm welcome. So, the fact that you are here, whether you're live on the call or listening back to the recording, indicates to me that you're ready for something different. Now, you may not know what that might be, right? Now, for each of you, it's going to be totally different, okay? Now, we know that we're all beautifully unique. And if I ask you the question, what is your version of your miracle zone? What's inside your miracle zone? When you close your eyes, what's there? And I know that however many callers we have, I know we've got around 100 already signed up. So however many of us there are in this energetic space today, there will be equally as many different versions of the miracle zone, right? And that is amazing. That makes us who we are, to each their own, right? But what I am told, or what is indicated by you being here, is that you're ready for something different. You've tried and tested many other things, perhaps. Maybe you've been struggling for years. Maybe you've been dabbling for a few months, right? Whatever it is for you, you are ready for change. And I know that for certain. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? So, let's cut to the chase. I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know today. Chances are you've heard some of it before, maybe once, maybe many times. But, and there's a big but, right? A huge but. As I said, the fact that you are taking time out of your schedule is a clear indicator to me that things haven't been going in your life, in your career, your love life, your business, your finances. They haven't been going to your liking. There's some level of dissatisfaction, right? So if you have heard some of what I'm going to be sharing with you today before, then perhaps approach it with different ears, a different outlook. And it's highly likely that you will without even trying, because every day we evolve, every day we shed layers, we grow, and we turn into the more current version of ourselves. So today, even if you have heard some of this information before, you will be hearing it with brand new, fresh eyes. So I would like us to start just for a second here, like with a short centering. So put everything down, close your eyes, and take a big, juicy inhale. In through the nose, filling as much of your body as you can with that fresh, new, rejuvenating breath. And then exhale. Letting it all release. And just repeat that in your own time. Notice how with each breath you feel calmer or peaceful. Enjoy that stillness for a moment. Now our topic today is miracles. Your miracle zone. We're going to talk more about what that actually is in a short while. But just hear this for a second. The miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops an instant and is still. I'm going to say that again. The miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops an instant and is still. Now that's a line from A Course in Miracles. Okay. And that's why I encouraged you to stop for a moment and focus purely on your breath. We spend so much of our lives racing around. Now, whether it's physically, moving from A to B, running around, taking on so much, or mentally. Now, we could be relaxing in the daytime, taking a whole day out, having a PJ day, not doing much of anything, and thinking that I'm really taking time out, I'm resting today. But actually, our mind is racing probably quicker than it normally does on a normal day. Right? So this is point number 1. Make time for stillness. Now we can call it meditation, we can call it tapping out. The labels really aren't that important, and as you get to know me better, you'll understand that I like you to figure out what feels good for you. So whatever it might be, however you want to label it, up to you. But in essence, slowing down, taking time to sit in silence, allowing the mind to slow down and, if possible, empty. Right? And I use the analogy, which I think is such a powerful one, the trash, right? If we were to not empty the trash in the kitchen regularly, preferably daily, right? Otherwise it is going to get stinky, right? It's the same with our mind. So allowing the mind to slow down and almost create that blank canvas effect again every day, that is when we are more likely to tune in, to perceive, to pick up on, to feel, to see, however it is you perceive your very own miracles. Now, a lot of people find incorporating any type of stillness into their day difficult, right? I always say start with 60 seconds, right? It doesn't have to be a full-blown Buddhist, transcendental meditation from day one. start where you are and then gradually build up. So 60 seconds of literally nothingness, right? And a great way to do that is to set a timer or an alarm on your smartphone or whatever device that you use. Even a regular alarm clock would be, or an egg timer, anything like that. And time yourself 60 seconds. Okay? So, there we go. And as I said, I'm not here to tell you anything that you haven't heard before. Chances are you knew that, and it's just like, whoa, okay, now might be the right time. Give it a go. So, as I said earlier on, I've been there. I've lived in the confusion. I've lived in the craziness, in, you know, the depression. When I began spending more time inside my miracle zone after an incident in my life, it was a breakdown of a relationship, a very, very dear relationship. And I felt like I'd been literally cracked open, much like a walnut from, you know, the Christmas selection basket, the nut selection basket, much like one of those really hard-shelled walnuts. I began receiving clear messages from the universe as to my life purpose. That was when I began spending extended periods of time in meditation, prayer, stillness, however you like to call it, right? I was forced to connect to all that is. Now, again, that word can be interchangeable: God, source energy, spirit, whatever you want to insert in there, please go ahead. At the time, I didn't know, but I was actually awakening on a much deeper level than ever before in my life. And it actually was either do that or give up, right? So this is when I understood, and I didn't just read it in a book, right? I didn't just go to a seminar when someone said to me, right, you have to meditate, because it would have meant nothing to me. It had meant nothing to me up until that point. But it was when I experienced it on that deep level that my life started to change. And, right, the miracles started to flood in. I was certain. I had clarity around my life purpose. I was receiving clear messages. I was understanding the signs. I was feeling the pull of the universe. I was able to discern which direction I was supposed to go in. Okay? So number one, and I always really like to stress that, and now it doesn't matter what issue or problem somebody comes to me with, that is the very first thing I get them going with, right? So, open your eyes if you haven't already opened them. And I want you to pick up your pen or your pencil and write down, if you were to see your miracle zone as in your mind's eye, if you sort of conjure it up and bring it into your mind's eye and see it almost like the earth, right, in that sort of sphere shape. But you can see through it. It's almost transparent. Now that, as a whole, is your miracle zone. Now I want you to sort of tune into that for a second and take a peek. Take a peek. What's inside? Now, as I ask these questions, just start to jot things down on the page. Don't worry about spelling, about grammar, anything like that. We're just going to let this pour onto the page to help you gain as much clarity as possible today. I really want you to leave today's session feeling as though you can start the day tomorrow knowing exactly what you need to do, exactly who you need to speak to, exactly what you need to cut out of your life, bring more into your life in, which book you need to go and read. I want you to have clarity. So as I ask these questions, just allow your answers to pour onto the page. Who is in your miracle zone? Now, it might be your ideal partner that you haven't met yet. Right? It might be a current relationship that you're in that you would love to improve slightly. Maybe more harmony with your children. What's the location? Where are you? Where is your miracle zone at present? We might be thinking about your property, your current home, the country that you live in, the city you live in. Do you have a desire to travel, but you haven't found the courage to yet or haven't gotten round to it? Now see yourself in the miracle zone. Notice expression on your face. What are you feeling? What are you excited about? Who are you in your miracle zone? Do you have the same profession? Is your business more successful? Where do you shop? How do you spend your free time? Do you have more free time? We'll spend the next 60 seconds allowing the pen to just flow. Don't vet it. Don't try and control it. Just allow it to tell a story. Now if we come back to our vision of that earth shape, that sort of sphere. Now imagine the earth with all the different parts, to the very core, right? And then the mantle and then the crust. Now, the miracle zone is the whole of this sphere, this earth shape. Right in the very center is what you're describing now. It's what you are creating, the vision that you are transferring from your heart, from your soul, from your mind, from your desires onto the page. And as you transfer every single word onto that page, you are creating the energy that is almost like the seed. When you plant the seed in the soil, right, you are planting those seeds ready for that reality to begin to take growth. So if you've finished writing, or if you want to pause for a moment and close your eyes and allow everything you've just written to come to life in your mind's eye. everything you've written to become 3D? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? How do you feel? If at any moment you want to jot anything down, go ahead. Who's there? Who is no longer there? Now I want you to just bring yourself back to the moment for a second and allow whatever it is that you've just created, that you've just allowed to flow through you in inspiration, to be in the center of that big sphere. Okay? You can add a color to it, add a sound, add a smell, but just allow it to just be there for a second. And I was, again, on my nature walk today, I was pondering how I really wanted to be able to give you guys a very clear visual of what the miracle zone could look like if we were to create it in perhaps a model form. And that is the analogy that came to mind, the vision of the earth. Now, right at the very center is your miracle zone. Now, if you imagine it in 3 parts, in the middle sort of zone, as it were, is where you will probably be spending a large portion of the coming weeks and months, right? Now, you have the ability to travel from one to the other, from the core of your miracle zone to, let's say, the secondary part of your miracle zone, to then the third part, the crust, let's say, the outer coating, which is almost the periphery, the outskirts, right? Now, you might want to draw a little diagram of this just to help you when you get off the call, maybe just to embed it a little bit more, okay? Now, in the middle, it's the miracle zone. You might want to label it, okay? And then the next is the secondary, and then it's the periphery or the crust. Call it whatever you like, right? Now, let's just say at the moment we're on the outskirts, right? We're dancing around. We're quite excited. We're hearing some new information. Maybe we feel hopeful. Maybe we're feeling supported, by tuning in today and knowing that there's, at least 100 odd other people in the space with you, in the same boat, wanting to live a better life, right? I spent a lot of time there, an awful lot of time there. And then I made that promise to listen, to tune in, to be guided, not only to improve my life, but also to improve as many lives that I possibly could, right? Now, at this point, we're going to look at 2 distinct ideas, concepts. What holds us out of the miracle zone, or what pulls us out of the miracle zone, what brings us into the miracle zone. And this is going to be unique to every single one of you, okay? So, as a little exercise now, I want you to write down what makes you happy, right? What makes you happy? Is it having, the freedom to choose what you do with your day? Is it spending time with loved ones? Is it knowing that you can sleep in the morning? Is it a warm bubble bath? Is it a good book? Is it fulfilling your life purpose of helping other people? Right? We are experiencing a massive wave of heart-centered, light workers who are being drawn, not dissimilar to the way I was, to really step up and ignite and facilitate change on this planet. And I know that there's going to be a lot of you guys who are in that position right now, not knowing perhaps how to go about it. But just for the now, is that what lights you up? Helping other people? Perhaps you're a holistic practitioner. Perhaps you help people heal their past through creative expression. Right? Whatever it might be for you. What makes you happy? So this is a continuation of what was in the core of your miracle zone. Now we're looking at how to get into the miracle zone on a daily basis, right? Now, something that I've experienced, after many, many years of working with men and women, predominantly women, for this particular exercise, especially during my live retreats where people come along and they get to spend a whole weekend with me, getting pampered from the inside out. So we do a lot of inner work, inner sort of clearing, expanding and personal and spiritual growth through movement, through meditation. We also do a lot of the outer work, so getting pampered, getting dressed up, going for cocktails, having nice food in a beautiful, luxurious setting. So I get to, experience, and they get to experience me for the whole weekend, and it's such an honor. But one of the things I always kick off with is write a list of about 10 or 20 things that you love to do, and for a good few minutes, the pages remain blank. And we're sort of waiting around for that inspiration to kick in, or for people to remember what they love to do. Right? We get so caught up in life. We get so caught up in, being a responsible adult, going to work, running a business, running a household, being a parent. Right? So many things take over that when we do have free time, mostly we just want to rest or catch up with the weekend chores. So this is a really great exercise regardless of what the purpose might be. It's just to reconnect you with your inner child, with your sort of that blissful state that we experienced a lot more regularly as children, right? Where we were more carefree, we were more in tune with what felt good. And if it didn't feel good, we weren't often very willing to do it. So I want you to just sort of come back for a second to that miracle zone in the center, what you wrote down, what you envisioned, that clarity that you got. And underneath there, I want you to write why. Why is that important to me? Why are the things that make me happy important to me? Why? What will it do for me? How will it change my life? How will I change? Okay, so as promised, I have a wonderful lady who is going to jump on the line now, if she's there. Wilma Marie Rose, are you there? Wilma, are you there? No. Okay. Let me see. We had Pam. Pam, are you there? Maybe. Okay. Is there anyone else on the line who asked to have laser coaching that is here, that would like to step up?
Hello, Maria. This is Martine.
Hi, Martine. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm just so thrilled to be listening to you. This is wonderful.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Oh, listen, I'm here with my rose quartz lamp in front of me and some crystals around me. And it's really just, so warm and, just intimate and just beautiful. You're doing something really, really special. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Oh, goodness. Overwhelmed. Okay, my lovely. So, as promised, I am opening up the space for you right now. What's critical, my lovely? What's critical, would you say, that you'd like to get some coaching on today?
I think overcoming fear to move forward.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so close your eyes for a second, Martine.
Mm-hmm.
And just take that beautiful deep breath in for me. And I want you to welcome that fear. Just invite it in. And just tell me, does it have a shape? Does it have a form? What does it feel like? What does it look like?
It feels like a heavy waterfall bashing down in my head.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Now, if I was to ask you to translate that at each drop of water, each gush of water, if I was to ask you to translate those into words, could you?
Oh, guilt, being ostracized, letting people down, letting myself down, not honoring what commitment was made, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And as you say those words and those phrases, how are you feeling? Have you noticed a shift in or a discomfort in your energy right now?
What's interesting is there's another voice saying, listen to yourself, because I know that the other side is you've got to honor yourself, be the best version of yourself. It doesn't matter what other people are thinking, and then you have all the little voices of the people that look to you and want things to say the same.
Right. So underneath that layer of fear is almost like a bit of a goodie box, isn't there, my lovely, going on for you?
Yes.
Bag of goodies. And if actually what's coming to mind now is that bag of goodies is, the sort of the really high sugary sweets that we all love to hate. We all love to eat, but we know we shouldn't, or whether it's chocolate for you, right? But sugary sweets are coming to my mind that they are causing that decay for you, aren't they? They're causing you to stay lethargic and stuck and not being able to move forward. Having that kind of that sugar rush, when you sort of decide, right, I'm really going to make a change, I'm really going to do this, and then that fear kicks right in and almost kind of trips you up. Not dissimilar to when we do have that sugar rush and then we have that slump of energy very shortly afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so take a big inhale for me now. Let's see if we can clear this for you. Are you willing to release that fear?
Yes.
Okay. What do you need to do in order to bypass or sidestep, as it were, that fear, right? But even if it doesn't go away right now, what can you do within the next 24 hours to ensure that whether it goes or stays, whether it dissipates a little bit or it decides to come in even stronger, which often it does, what can you do to ensure that you, as you said, honor yourself?
I think what would be helpful is to write a letter to myself, starting the ball rolling, looking at what I'm looking for and why I'm looking for it. So it's out of my head, out of my body, and on paper, and something I can go back to.
So even more clarity. Yeah, even more clarity. Wonderful. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Will you let me know how that letter goes? Right?
I will do. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. Is there anybody else that responded to me on the line who'd like to have some coaching today?
Hi, Maria.
Hello.
It's Sandra.
Hello, Sandra. Welcome.
I eventually got on. Oh.
What's critical for you today?
I think there's a sense of, I'm not sure if it's emptiness in my solar plexus region, but that, I don't know if it's fear or it's just a space which needs to be filled, but then it's also almost a fear of taking that step and doing what I need to do. You know, and
close your eyes for me then. Just take that cleansing breath in and out. When you think of that step, I want you to imagine, see yourself bigger than you are, almost like the size of a giant, let's say. And I want you to see yourself taking this big step. Now, as you go to take this step, I want you to look and see what's underneath. What are you stepping over? All right, have a look. You see?
Just space. It's almost as if...
So the space is there for you.
Yeah.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now that you can see that it's clear, what do you need to do next?
Keep stepping out in faith and just believing.
Oh, so juicy. Yeah. And perfectly stated, my lovely. And we are definitely going to get into that in a second. So, are you going to make that commitment? This is for you and Martine, actually, and anyone else who's listening today or back to the replay. Are you going to make that commitment to yourself to keep stepping out?
Yes.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Sandra. That's lovely. Is there anybody else who'd like to share this evening? Or today, depending on where you are? Okay. So we're going to, and I love how that, the universe always takes care of it, right? Love it. So I was going to take you guys into the next step, right? So we've talked about stillness. We've talked about finding time for stillness, for doing nothing, for allowing things to settle, much like the snow globe, right? When you have a snow globe in your hand, you can see, and you're shaking it. You know, you can't see what's inside. All you can see is this kind of just crazy mess of, you know, sparkles and snow, whatever it might be. And when you put it down, allow it to just settle and be still, that's when the beauty of the snow globe is revealed, the miracle, right? So we've talked about how it's important to do that on a regular basis. And then we've looked at getting clear, putting inside the very core of your miracle zone that which you desire. But very often we're racing from A to B, crazy, that we don't know, you know. I love to ask people when I first meet them, rather than what do you do, I like to ask them, what are you passionate about? If I'm at a dinner party or, you know, an event or whatever, even when people, you know, contact me on social media, what are you passionate about? That's one of my favorite things to ask people. And sometimes they don't know, right? So that's what I feel is really, really important, is to get clarity. And then ask yourself why, right? For example, I'm really passionate about ensuring that my children have freedom, right? The freedom to have just that freedom of choice, you know, at certain times of their week. And I was always very, very big on that from a very young age. I did get a little bit sucked into, you know, the sort of extracurricular activities, the clubs and the this and that. And then it was like one day, whoa, slow down. And when I started to sort of, you know, cross things off of the weekly timetable, I actually had to sit and understand why, because it wasn't easy to do, right? But they need to learn this because of that. They need to learn this because of that. But actually coming back to the why I want them to have that freedom, so that they can be okay with doing nothing, so that they can occupy themselves, so they can have downtime, so they don't have to race out of bed even on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning to go to drama club or swimming club or this or that. So getting clear on why, rather than just reeling off a list of, I want to be successful, I want to be able to buy designer clothes and go on holiday when I want to, right? Asking why really sorts the, what's that saying, the bad apples from the good apples, something like that. You know what I mean, right? It really sorts out saying something for the sake of it, perhaps because our next door neighbour has that particular car that we think that we desire, or whether it's in true alignment with who we are, who we came here to be, and the purpose of what we came here to be. All right, so asking why. And then making a very clear decision and commitment. So this is what came up for you guys. Decision and commitment, right? I'm deciding to ... right? And writing it down and almost signing like a contract with yourself. And then the big old blocks. And we've just done a little bit of that with Sandra and Martine, looking at what could possibly be blocking me. Now, I'll let you into a little secret. When I went through that, specific time in my life when that very dear relationship broke down, and I found myself literally floored, cracked open. And the term cracked open really is there to sort of signify how vulnerable I was. And not to want to conjure up any bad memories for anybody who has any connections with this sort of event in time. But when you think about 9/11 and ground zero, and how that sort of part of the city was literally dissolved. It disappeared, right? And then it had to be rebuilt. And that's how I had to approach my life. It was as if I was learning to walk, talk, eat, taste, speak, think again, complete, reborn, basically. So at that time in my life, I did a lot of inner work, a lot of clearing, a lot of healing, forgiving, all the things that I know you guys have been working on probably for many years, right? And after a few years, I was mistakenly thinking, right, I'm ready, I'm healed, I'm done, bring it on, let's go. Let's dance with it, right? And boy, was I wrong. We think about healing as final, right? As, well, I've cleared that one, my sort of issues. Another secret I'll let you into, they're not secrets, it's just impactful to say it that way. But when in my late teens and early 20s, I went through some serious eating disorders. I was went from one to the other, to the other, to the other. I won't go into all of the details, but that's one thing that I did think I'd healed. Right? I'd dealt with it. I'd come to terms with it. I'd understood it. I'd cleared it. I'd worked on it, right? But remnants of it will still come up now and again. I guess it's like they say an alcoholic, right? Never can touch a drink again, right? It still comes up. So looking at your blocks is the next step, right? Blocks, what I call potential pitfalls, hurdles, right? Now, it's very possible to be in a place of what I call newness, when you kind of approach something as the new you, right? For example, my daughter has always been, and she's 12 now, she's always been very self-righteous, won't take any rubbish from anybody, not even me. And when she was a little girl, we clashed. And then I went through my own kind of process of, not sweating the small stuff. So when she would kind of display the same behavior, my reaction would be totally different. But now and again, my old ways will come back to bite me, right? But that for me is then an opportunity to ask, what is different? What has caused this? What did I do differently today? Right? Or what didn't I do? For example, and this leads me on to the toolkit, right? So our blocks or tendencies, let's say, can flare up at any time. So the fear, the guilt, the fear of other people's judgment, the lack of faith, the lack of belief, all of that, they can, in an instant, be right there in front of us when we thought we dealt with them 10 years ago. Now, this is where the toolkit comes in, and it's so, 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 so important. Now, we're not going to have time to go into the toolkit in depth today, but what I will just do is share an overview. I'm thinking we might need an encore of this class. So keep checking your emails, because in true Maria style, I think I'm going to shove one out there in the next couple of weeks, because I enjoy being with you guys so much. So the toolkit is anything that you do or partake in that brings you into your miracle zone. Now, what is the miracle zone? At this point in time, it's really useful for me to say it is being in alignment. Now, I don't know what that means to you when I say that to you. It means different things for different people. It can mean being plugged in, feeling energized, feeling like nothing in the world really, really matters other than me feeling good. It can be the difference between you caring that hubby or wifey left the socks on the floor or not. The difference between caring that the toilet seat's up or the toilet seat's down, depending on what sex you are, right? For you, it's going to be totally different. Alignment, right? My take on alignment, and this is my personal understanding of it and how I've come to understand it through living it, right? And it's the best way to dive in, jump in, live it, experience it, and come to your own conclusions. But for me, it's being in a space that's connecting me. So I'm basically being connected to all that is. Now, I'm really conscious of reining in my use of airy-fairy words. Nothing wrong with airy-fairy words, but I really want you guys to grasp and understand all of this today. So all that is, universal energies, God, spirit, or your bliss zone, your happy zone, your miracle zone. All right? So this is, as I said to you before, I want you to have some really strong tools and tips to take away with you and implement tomorrow morning, but I also want you to commit to studying this. Look at your diagram. Continue with your notes. Add to it. Go on your own miracle zone journey. And if you have questions, queries, or anything you're not sure of, please contact me. If you are on Facebook, then I have a group which is called Your Miracle Zone, and I would love to have you hang out there with me. So any questions you have or any sort of, revelations or even just, updates on how this week has gone for you, post them in there. You can find it, just search Your Miracle Zone, ask to join, and I'll let you in. So knock on the door and I'll let you in. So the toolkit is anything that makes you feel better, right? Medication, yoga, going for a walk, having your favorite hot drink, having a hot bath. Now, there are some what I call power tools, right? And they're true for me, but also with most of the people that I work with, right? And in the power tools section lies that all-important stillness, that all-important moving your body in any way that pleases you. I'm not going to say you have to practice yoga. I'm not going to say you have to go for a run. I'm not going to say you have to go to a high-energy dance class. It really is what is good for you. And tying that into this theme is being in communication with your inner being. That voice, that desire inside of you, that when you decide you're going to accompany your friend to that high-energy dance class, inside you're just dreading it, but you're going because someone said it's good or you feel like you need to do some high-energy stuff, right? So highlighting the fact right here, right now, the importance of honoring your inner being, yourself, right? So more power tools are doing anything that uplifts you in the mind. So affirmations, visualizations, listening to uplifting audios, reading uplifting texts, right? There's so much out there these days. Being aware of your mind, your beliefs, what's going on, your inner dialogue, right? And that isn't always easy to do it alone, right? It's not always the easiest thing to achieve. And I'm the first one to put my hand up. As I said all those years ago, after a few years of working, quote unquote, on myself, I thought I was this healed, new, shiny being. And actually, it wasn't the case. And it wasn't really until I put my hand up and said, hang on a minute, I need some proper help here. I'm not leaving this to chance anymore. And you know what, guys? When I had hit rock bottom, and I've hit many rock bottoms, but I hit that, we'll stick to that one in particular, the one I've been talking about in this session. I almost became allergic to feeling crappy. I almost became intolerant of low vibrational energy, right? And that's when I decided that, again, that decision-making, that all-important decision, I decided to not leave it to chance anymore. That I decided what I wanted over, to unfold in my life. And I knew what my blocks were. I knew what potentially could get in my way. I knew where my downfalls were, right, my pitfalls, my old ego ways. And I didn't want them to hinder me living in my miracle zone every single day. So I made that specific decision to do what it takes. And for me, doing what it takes involved hiring a mentor. Someone who would whip me into shape, tell me when I was being ridiculous, encourage me when I was being a wuss, right? And guide me. Because, and this is one of the most powerful realizations that I've come to, even throughout my psychotherapy training, when they used to say, you need to have support, you need to have your own sessions. And yeah, it was all well and good, but I didn't really get it, didn't understand it as much as I did at this point in my life. And that's when I made the decision to not do it alone. So whatever it's going to be for you is to ensure that you have that sounding board, that someone to be accountable to, someone who can sit with you and not go along with things just because, they don't want to upset you, but actually to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. So, and the final thing, and this has been an overview. I would love to spend another 2 hours with you guys, but this is an overview. The final one is to show up daily, right? Every single day, not taking weekends off, right? Because evolution, growth, expansion doesn't take the weekends off. It happens every single day. So when it comes to meditating or being active, going out in nature, making sure you have a nourishing diet, sleeping well, whatever it is for you, after you've done that sort of explorative exercise of figuring out what it is for you, right? Ensuring that every day you show up and you do it. Now, I'm a big believer in flexibility, so doesn't mean to say that, every day you spend 4 hours in your daily practice, because God forbid that you might not make it into the miracle zone on that specific day. Not at all. That's totally up to you how you sort of piece it together. And definitely more on that another time. But what I'd like to do now is actually take you into that process that I promised you all. Okay? So do find a nice space where you can be uninterrupted. And we're going to call in our miracles. And closing your eyes. And with each breath, allow your whole body to just melt. And your mind to just melt. Letting everything go. Right now, the only thing that serves you is the peace, the space, and the openness. So with each breath, allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into that empty presence. And it feels so good. It feels such beautiful energy. You might notice a color, or a number of colors, a pattern. Notice any shifts in your body. Do you feel lighter, higher in vibration? Let that sigh just be the indication that you are in a beautiful, energetic space. Aligning your energy with that of the universe. Breath in and breath out. As you fall deeper and deeper into your peaceful space of empty presence, you become more at one with the universe. Now bring to mind your miracle zone. And as if you were peering in from an outside window, have a look. Remind yourself of what you put inside your miracle zone earlier today. And as if you were watching the moving images on a movie screen, allow it to come to life. What do you see? Is it freedom? Is it money? Your lover? Your ideal home? A new wardrobe? Career? Successful business? Healthy body? What do you see? And as if you were watching it on a big, giant movie screen, as you watch yourself living out each day in that life, inside your miracle zone. Step into it now. Step into the shoes of the version of you that you put into your miracle zone. How does it feel? Does it feel delicious and yummy and exciting? Happy and free, fearless, courageous. Exactly where you are supposed to be. And as you take to your meditation space as your miracle zone version of you, before you go into your stillness, you enter into a space of gratitude, listing one by one what you are deeply grateful for in that moment. So as the miracle zone version of you, already living that miraculous, amazing, blissful life with everything that you have desired for so long occurring, playing out, happening every single day, you sit in gratitude and you list one by one. I am grateful for, then fill in the blank. And say it like you mean it. Like today, you've done that thing that you've wanted to do for 20 odd years. Like today, you checked your bank account and it looked like the amount that you've been wishing to have in there for as long as you can remember. Today, you had a beautiful romantic date with that person that you've been desiring to be with. Today, keep filling in those blanks as if you have already done it. As if you already have it. As if you are already being the miracle zone version of you. I am grateful for. So today, if what we've covered has ignited anything inside of you to want to take action now, take what we've talked about today even further and ensure that you start to live every day as your miracle zone version of you, then I have a very special sharing. It's actually an invitation. Now, I said earlier on in today's class how a long time ago I made a promise. And that promise was to, in every way possible, serve whoever needed me, help whoever needed me. And usually I don't have a say in that. The universe normally takes care of that. So if you feel as though you are one of those people and you would like to work with me over the next 12 months to really accelerate what we've started today, to really ensure that what you've designed, what you've created inside your miracle zone comes true, starting next week, starting now, then I've created something really exclusive for you. Okay? Now, to work with me, I actually only work with people for a year now. And this is because I have committed to play full out. I have committed to step into my miracle zone, which means when I support people, I support them fully. So basically take them under my wing, and I'm there for you 24/7, in private sessions weekly, on email, on the end of the phone, whatever it takes to ensure that whatever you're going through is eradicated and whatever you want to create comes true, right? So if you feel as though you would like me to help you, then today what I've done for you is created a very special price, okay? Because the fact that you've shown up today shows me that you're ready to do this. You're ready for change. So if you feel drawn to it, usually to work with me, it's £500 deposit, and then monthly £500, okay? Now for that, we work together privately. Each week we also do, you get into a group session. There's guided processes. There's everything that you will need, right? It's all covered. The details will come later. You don't have to worry about that right now. If you are committed to creating your miracle life, then really listen carefully. It's £500 usually, deposit, and then monthly £500. But if you are ready and committed today, then I will bring this down to £400 deposit and £400 per month, right? Now that is a huge saving over the course of the year. Okay, if you want to go away and do the calculations, if you're that kind of person, go for it, right? Everyone's different. Okay. Now, the next big offering, bonus, special, however you want to put it, is if you want to work with me for the year, if you think, I really need this, I'm going to give this gift to myself, I've been dancing around the parameters of my miracle zone for way too long, enough is enough, then I can give you the special price of £4,000 if you pay in full. Now, that's not the only part. The big bonus there is that I will pop in for you a whole day of deep transformation work with me. It's a VIP day. We get to work face-to-face, depending on where you are in the world. Right? There is the option to travel. Okay, I do have people traveling, getting on a plane to work with me. We go deep, 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 and it's always an amazing way to kickstart your year with me. Right? So if you want to do that, that again is a huge saving. Something like, goodness me, 2,400, something like that. Again, if the maths is important to you, go away and do the calculations. By all means, give yourself that time. If this offer is open until midnight this evening, right? So, and the reason that I put a time limit on it, guys, it's not to be cruel. It's not to put you on the spot or make a hard sell or anything like that. It is because I know from experience that when you make a quick decision, when you follow your heart, when you say, go for it, I'm going to go for it and the universe will take care of it, that's when you see the biggest results. That's when your transformation is the most powerful and the deepest. I remember when I hired my second mentor, right? And it was a considerable step up in financial investment. I had an initial conversation with her. She was in the US, and I said to her, tell me what I need to pay today in a deposit. Don't tell me the rest. I know that the universe would take care of it, because I knew that I needed to work with her. I knew that enough was enough. So if you're feeling like that, then all you need to do today is make your deposit of £400. and they will get on the phone tomorrow and figure out the rest, okay? If you're all in and you've got a way of paying in full today, I highly recommend that, because you do get a full VIP day with me. Now, those full VIP days are worth 1,200 UK pounds, right? So it's a huge bonus to be getting and an amazing opportunity to spend a whole day face-to-face with me, right? If any of those appeal to you, I want you to go to follow this link, www.mkhealthwellnesslifestyle.com, that's all one word, /app, so APPS, /webstore, /. I'll say it again, MK Health Wellness Lifestyle, all one word, .com, /apps, /webstore, /. Okay? Now, I'm available. Send me an email. If you want to book a conversation with me, we can get on the phone or on Skype, and I can give you the nitty-gritty bits of info if you need them before you make your decision. By all means, it is a big investment, but you can't really put a price on waking up every morning knowing that you are already living in your very own custom-designed miracle zone. And I'm wishing you a beautiful, blissful, miracle-filled rest of your day. And for me, namaste.